Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, depending upon when you're watching this. But for me, it is a bright and early on a Monday morning, and I'm taking the opportunity to film while my husband is taking my daughter to school. So I'm here with my iced coffee. It's hot in Australia. It's already like 28 degrees at 8:15 in the morning. But I thought I would show you today my week in the life from last year. And right now I'm keeping it in this Louise Carmen Primavera. And I did get a little charm. It's like a moon and a sun on it. And some pink agate. It already has a little mark on it. I actually don't know what that is. But this flap actually goes on the inside. Like this. And I have an engraving. Lucky me. Because I got to go back to Paris for a day trip to get this one right before we left Europe. And yeah, I like I do believe that our words are like spells, and if you think that you're a lucky person, then you are a lucky person. So I keep my travelers books in here. Like this is the road book, and it does have quite a lot of strings. So you can have up to like 6 notebooks in here, but right now I have 2 travelers and I'm molding sort of the leather to fit these. I actually really they just fit. But I actually really like it. The fold goes over a lot more, but it fits really nice and snug and feels great. If you want to put your travel notebooks in one of these in a Louise Carmen road book, you can. Anyway, let's get on with it. I've got actually a different one in here as well. I've got a travel journal, which I will go through in another video, but for this video, I wanted to go through the week in the life. Ali Edwards does a pack, like a kit. Sorry, I blanked on the word. It's a kit. For week in the life. Now, I bought her notebook to use because I'm much more of a notebook person than like the huge scrapbooking kits that she does. I love her kits, but I really wish she did more like flat elements that you could put in a journal. But anyway, so I bought the notebook and then I ended up cutting it down to use a traveler's because I felt like the paper in her notebook also wasn't very good. You can't really stamp on it. It bleeds really easily. So I really wish she had a bit better paper in those, but I love the cover designs and everything. So I still bought it, and I also used her schedule at the start to and stuck it in there too. So anyway, so this is a traveler's notebook that I have repurposed. You can kind of actually see through the previous paper, but I cut out the Monday here. I haven't gone through this in a while, so yes. And then this is the size, so she has like an A5, and I just put it in there and folded it in, and that is the timeline. So I use her timeline and basically keep this up to date. I think for the most part I kept up with this. I think on the last 2 days I did not, but yeah. So that is the timeline for Monday. Monday's always a time when you go in all guns blazing, ready to document. I wanted to document that I made matcha pretty much every day. So I also really make an effort during the week in a life to take photos of myself. And this I sized online, and I actually put this on the computer as well. So this is actually, this picture is not stuck on. This is printed with this one. And then that's my kids in the bathroom, getting ready, watching Louise Carmen videos. So I didn't even have my Louise Carmen at this stage, but this is me watching videos of like people buying them. And then I've also stuck on what breakfast was like. I also wrote a lot on my photos for this album, and I actually really love the way that it turned out. This was at the breakfast table, of course. I did a quick video chat with my friend. We were planning a holiday, my journals, tickets, that sort of thing. We booked a candlelight concert in Amsterdam. Me feeling anxiety before a trip, that's normal for me, which I shouldn't say that, but yeah, I for some reason, going on holidays makes me anxious. Crazy. We broke open our money box that we had collecting for a long time, and we had like 3,500 francs in there, so that was pretty awesome. We deposited that. Our lunch, our favourite lunch with prawn gyoza, veggies and bone broth. And my son at the table. And then I also did a big picture. I used these aquarelle crayons that I got. I think that's what that was, yes. They're like the Caran d'Ache aquarelle crayons. I really love these. I got a little set in Amsterdam, and then I loved it so much that I bought the bigger set in Paris. This was what she said when she was taking this photo. She said, hurry up and take the photo and listen to my story. And you can see she's pretty looking at me like not in the happiest way, but I actually love this photo, her look, and the way that Patrick, my husband, is looking at her, and the food's all hot. He's doing his usual thing where he waits about 5 minutes for the food to cool down. So I love these real life photos, and that's why I love this project in general. It actually just gets you to capture the everyday. All right, I'll just zoom in a little bit here so you can see. I also just captured like a few normal things that we see. Like I loved that we have every Monday and Thursday we had cleaners in our apartment building cleaning the vicinity, all the common areas. And I love that this guy, it was raining outside and he's wearing this tiny little umbrella hat while he's blowing the leaves, which I'm actually amazed that the leaves were, actually being blown in the wet, like the rain. But yeah, it still worked, and I just thought that was really funny. So I took a photo off our balcony, and then it's them looking off the balcony at the guy too. I don't know. I think it was really cute. Us, our normal walk to kindergarten. This is the way out of our apartment, and this is her kindy that she went to, and the normal drop-offs. This is a view that I saw pretty much every day, and now a year later I'm glad I captured that. I like these big photos, so I've added these in, just random moments around the house. Brushing teeth. Again, shenanigans around the house. I wanted to document that Rosie was beginning to learn how to read here, and I'd created these like CVC cards for her to practice the sounds, and it was really sweet, her sitting there, and she loved learning, so yeah. Okay, so that was Monday. Tuesday, again, another timeline. I was talking to my mum on the phone, the Laugen Gipfeli, which is a very common croissant in Switzerland. Morning tickles. He actually really loved playing with babies at the moment, and I think that's his sister's influence. And then I've got Kita Bound. He went to Kita, which is daycare, for the mornings. So that was him ready to go. In the lift, walking out of the building, all the different views of our normal everyday. She's off to kindergarten again. And I'm talking here about how she'll be 6 in a few weeks. I also photographed this on the way to Kidney, and it was just after the rain. It was really beautiful. Everything was wet. I love the colours. I love these, I don't even know what they are. But I really love that. The decoration on this is pretty simple, literally just a bit of watercolour in the background. Actually, I think I might have used the crayons, the same aquarelle crayons, but when you wet them, they go watercolour-ish. I absolutely love this photo of her walking to kindy. They wear these high-vis strips to walk to kindergarten. And I'm glad I sort of captured that too. And then I also captured our apartment and circled where we lived. I knew at this point that this would be the last one that we would do, and we were going to be moving a few months later. So this is why I am sort of doing a lot about the place that we live. That was my focus for this project. My friend dropped by, and so I captured just a quick picture of what that situation was like with her son getting out all the toys. Then I took a trip into Basel, the city that I lived in, and I took a few pictures just around the tram, the streets. I went to the tourist shop to collect some bits that I wanted for my Swiss memory journal, so I did a little illustration there of this, a little European city. Then I took this photo actually out our apartment window, and it was all raining, and the water was over the window, and the lights were on. People were going past because a storm, I think, was just happening or about to happen. And I just said in there, I don't think it ever gets this dark in Australia, even in a storm. It just goes so dark, and I find it even hard to take photos, just generally, because there's not much light. And I also talk about that my husband was picking up my son and him in his rain suit. And again, they don't sort of have rain suits like this in Australia. And they just look so cute in them. Laundry, ordinary stuff, guys. I love it. Kids helping get the laundry out. Wednesday. Talking about, looks like I had a phone call. Let's have a look. The storms and rain continue all week, and I put the weather, so it was about 22 degrees, rainy every day. And I remember being really annoyed about this at the time because it was week in the life documenting week, and I didn't want it to be raining, so we could get out more and do all of these things. But, you know, it's kind of good to document regardless of what it is. So you are forced to capture moments in, you know, times which may not be ideal, and, you know, or something not so great happens. I still try and document it for that week. I try and push through. So what else? Them on the couch watching TV together, snuggling up. That was really cute. And then I also put there that Leander's favorite thing to do is scroll through all the photos on our phones. And he doesn't, I don't think he thinks, I think he just thinks it's a camera basically. But yeah, he loves just looking at the photos in there. The flowers, love the flowers around the place, so I put that on there. That was on our walk, the regular walk across the road. Going to the local supermarket and taking a photo at the checkout and what that was like, what we were buying. We were pretty addicted to these iced coffees, my husband especially. And capturing the roses on the way. There was always a garden with like beautiful roses, and these like stone paving. I took a photo of my feet there. I don't know. I'm glad I did, because these are the things that I saw every day and now I actually miss. I got this just off Pinterest to signify I didn't have a picture of me talking to my sister, but I put that there because that's really, how it felt. And the time, we were talking for 2 hours and 30 minutes, which is actually quite unusual for me to talk that long to my sister. She's a busy lady. And then I did some art, and I was doing some art in my Hobonichi weeks, and it was like a little course, I think, or a YouTube or something. And my daughter came home after that and she joins me, and this is her peeking around to the course. I actually love this moment as well. Astro Fries, one of my husband's favorite places to get food. But it's like they do like loaded fries and burgers, but I got the burger, and I don't know, the last few times that I had it, a couple of times I had it, it gave me a stomachache. So took some photos of my kids, of course, and what they're up to. And then this was the end of year party for my daughter's kindergarten. So I made these pigs in a blanket. It was the first time I made them. And I put even mustard and cheese in there. And my daughter, who's a very fussy eater, even ate them, which I was surprised at. A picture of all 4 of us in the lift. It's not often we do that because he's usually in a pram and we don't fit with a pram. So, yeah. Walking to kindergarten again. And this was pictures of her end of year performance that they did, plus a picture with her teacher. Thursday, again, timeline. And these were from Ali Edwards, these half circles, which kind of have continued throughout the journal. So I've got 3 pictures here. I just printed this again all in one. I took the measurements of the travelers and put it in Photoshop, and then I would just design pages in Photoshop. This one also has a little tip in because I think I might have forgotten about this photo, or it just belonged on this page and I didn't have enough room. But this was my daughter playing with her dollhouse, so I put that in. The usual morning activities. I usually have my journal open. This is my daughter watching Pingu on TV and my husband changing my son. And then I've got around Basel again. These are some familiar views of mine in Basel. I got some lunch while I was out, and then talked about how we paid a lot of money for a deposit for the bowl. So they give you, this is a takeaway lunch, but it was 20 francs for us to take the bowls, and then we return it later and they'll give us the 20 francs back. But I got some beading things as well. we went to a shopping centre for her to buy a birthday present for her friend and to get Leander's first haircut. So I took my camera along and he cried. I don't know whether you can see his face, but he's crying. And he cried the whole time. So I literally got one photo before and then smiles afterwards. So at least there was some smiles afterwards. And then while we were waiting for the bus on the way home, it was just so green. It struck me how green the place looked. And I just took a photo of them looking at the view, reading books. So these are all like pretty simply put together, these spreads. I didn't have a lot of time, to be honest. So it was literally cutting, pasting, and then just writing with my, I don't know, Fudeno Seiko. How do you pronounce this? Fudeno Suke pens. Now, on Friday, this is when it all fell apart because I broke my back. I didn't really break my back, but I injured it in some way. And when I got up in the morning, I basically could not walk. So I was literally lying on the couch with a heat pack on. And I had actually, this was the second time this happened in a month. And my physio had said that this often happens for people who are moving and the stress combined with all the physical stuff. But what the heck? I don't know. Anyway, these were some very brief moments. I did still have some kids coming over for a play date, so I made them like some pizza. I just did the bare minimum, to be honest, because it was very painful for me to be standing up. So I just took some brief little moments. There was not much, mostly just me on the couch. And then that was literally the whole day. And then the same with Saturday. Again, me on the couch, me heating up the heat pack. I was creating some spreads for another traveler's notebook I was putting together. But yeah, it was a write-off. Today was literally me on the couch all day, intermittently warming my heat pack and working on my Switzerland traveler's notebook. I feel bad I couldn't help with the kids and around the house. And then, yes, so I didn't finish this and I wrote a little thing. I tried my best. And that's okay. Like, I'm glad for what I documented, you know. I didn't let this ruin the whole project and I'm really grateful, you know, because otherwise I wouldn't have all the rest if I just gave up and didn't do it, you know. And then, yes, so I've got some actually papers here. That was actually back from my trip because I did this notebook a little bit after it happened. And yeah, I can see some of the papers that I took back from my trip that I used in here. Making coffee, the coffee machine, the table near the drop zone, you know, near the front door. And the heat packs I was using on my back, and of course Cuddles. And that was it. I think that's the last page of it. Yeah, that was the last page, and I almost completely filled up this traveler's notebook too. So that was my week in the life. And I will be doing it again this year because I think it's one of the best documentation of like what life is like at that particular time. And already in the last year, my life has changed dramatically. You know, I'm in a completely new country and I'm so grateful that I documented these days. So yeah, if you do travel, if you do week in the life, how does that look for you? I love looking through people's week in the life and how they choose to document it. I know a lot of people do the bigger albums, but for me, I need something a little bit more compact and better to store. And I'll also go through the 2024 week in the life as well, because that's a nice, I've used the notebook for that. So I will do a flip through of that one as well. Maybe I'll do that soon or in the next video. But thanks for joining me for this one, and I will see you in the next one.